Michael Jackson, often hailed as the king of pop, possessed a life filled with unparalleled fame, groundbreaking achievements, and immense challenges. Beyond the dazzling performances and chart-topping hits lies a narrative that few truly understand, a mosaic of talent, ambition, struggles, and humanity. This video delves deep into the lesser-known aspects of Jackson's life, offering a comprehensive glimpse into the man behind the moonwalk. Early life and family dynamics. Born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, Michael Joseph Jackson was the eighth of Catherine and Joseph Jackson's 10 children. The Jackson family, though tight-knit, led a life marked by financial struggles, living in a modest two-bedroom home. These hardships, however, were counterbalanced by the rich musical atmosphere that pervaded the household. Catherine, a devout Jehovah's Witness, often sang to her children, instilling in them a love for music, while Joseph, a former boxer and crane operator, had once aspired to be a musician. From a tender age, Michael displayed an extraordinary aptitude for music and performance. Encouraged by their father, Michael and his older brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon, formed the Jackson 5. While the band saw immense success, their rise wasn't without its challenges. Joseph was a stern manager, enforcing rigorous rehearsal schedules and demanding perfection in their performances. His discipline often bordered on the harsh, casting a shadow on the young Jacksons' achievements. Michael, in particular, recounted instances of his father's strictness, describing their relationship as more managerial than paternal. Despite the pressures and complexities of their relationship with Joseph, the Jackson 5 rose meteorically in the music world. Their breakthrough came with hits like I Want You Back and ABC, catapulting the young band to national prominence. Michael, with his unique voice and electrifying stage presence, naturally emerged as the group's frontman. But while his voice was that of an experienced artist, inside, he was still a young boy grappling with the challenges of early fame. This rapid ascent to stardom had its effects on Michael's formative years. School became a secondary concern, and the world of music and performance became his classroom. While this non-traditional upbringing provided him unparalleled experiences and opportunities, it also meant sacrificing a regular childhood, a theme Michael would often touch upon later in his life. The Jackson household's dynamics were further intensified by their sudden fame. The family found themselves in the national spotlight, with every aspect of their personal lives dissected by the public and media. For young Michael, the lack of privacy became a significant challenge, one that he would continuously wrestle with throughout his life. The idea of a normal childhood, with its playtimes, school events, and privacy, seemed a distant dream. The Motown years, triumphs, and challenges. The late 1960s and early 1970s witnessed the Jackson 5's association with Motown Records, a period that was seminal not only in their careers but also in the broader context of American music. Motown, founded by Berry Gordy in Detroit, had already established itself as a powerhouse label, nurturing the talents of artists like Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, and Diana Ross. The union of the Jackson 5 with this illustrious label promised great potential, and the partnership didn't disappoint. The Jackson 5's introduction to Motown came about through Gladys Knight and Bobby Taylor, who noticed the group's potential and recommended them to Gordy. After a successful audition, the Jackson 5 were signed to Motown in 1969. Their initial singles under the label, especially I Want You Back, released later that year, showcased a blend of youthful exuberance and refined musicality. It skyrocketed to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, marking the beginning of a series of chart-topping successes for the group under Motown. Their subsequent hits, including ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There, further solidified their position as Motown's golden boys. Michael's voice, mature beyond his years and capable of conveying a depth of emotion, became the hallmark of the Jackson 5 sound. The group, with their synchronized dance moves, matching outfits, and infectious energy, became a sensation, ushering in a fresh wave of soul and pop music. Yet, behind the glitz and glamour of chart-topping singles and sold-out concerts, lay challenges that the group had to navigate. The music industry, for all its allure, is known for its demanding nature, and the Jackson 5, despite their youth, were not exempt from its pressures. The intense tour schedules, coupled with the expectations to consistently produce hits, weighed heavily on the young group. Michael, who was barely in his teens, found himself at the forefront of this whirlwind, bearing the dual responsibility of meeting professional demands while trying to make sense of his evolving identity. Moreover, the Motown machinery, efficient and goal-oriented, had its way of functioning. Artists often had little say in their musical direction, with decisions about song choices, production, and presentation primarily made by the label. The Jackson 5, eager to explore their sound and experiment with their musicality, occasionally found this restrictive. The desire for more creative control became a growing concern, leading to friction between the group and the label. The dynamics within the Jackson family further complicated matters. Joseph Jackson's role as the group's manager meant that professional disagreements often spilled into personal spaces. The lines between family and business became increasingly blurred, adding layers of complexity to their Motown journey. Thriller, behind the success. By the time the early 1980s rolled around, Michael Jackson had already achieved significant acclaim, both as a member of the Jackson 5 and as a solo artist. However, the release of his sixth studio album, Thriller, in 1982, catapulted him to an unprecedented level of global stardom. The album became an instant classic, breaking records, reshaping the music industry, and redefining what it meant to be a pop star. But the monumental success of Thriller was not just a serendipitous event. It was a confluence of talent, timing, vision, and relentless hard work. Thriller was a labor of love and ambition. Michael, having tasted solo success with Off the Wall, was determined to outdo himself. He envisioned an album that was not just a collection of songs, but a complete artistic experience. To bring this vision to life, he teamed up with Quincy Jones, a legendary producer with whom he had collaborated on Off the Wall. Their synergy was palpable. Together, they carefully curated a mix of tracks that spanned genres, from pop and rock to R&B and funk. Songs like Beat It, which featured a memorable guitar solo by Eddie Van Halen, demonstrated Michael's ability to transcend traditional genre boundaries. On the other hand, Billie Jean, with its unmistakable bass line and evocative lyrics, showcased his knack for storytelling. Yet it was the title track, Thriller, accompanied by its iconic music video, that truly captured the zeitgeist. The video, with its groundbreaking visuals, intricate choreography, and cinematic narrative, transformed music video production from a promotional tool into an art form in its own right. However, the creation of Thriller was not without its challenges. Michael and Quincy, both perfectionists in their craft, spent countless hours in the studio, fine-tuning every note, every beat, and every lyric. Stories of them laboring over a single chord or a particular vocal inflection are well documented. They sought input from multiple musicians and technicians, ensuring that each track met their exacting standards. Furthermore, while Thriller had its share of undeniable hits, its success was also a testament to Michael's commitment to promoting the album. He embarked on exhaustive promotional tours, gave numerous interviews, and utilized the burgeoning medium of music television, particularly MTV, to reach a global audience. His live performances, replete with his signature moonwalk, further solidified his reputation as a consummate entertainer. Beyond the music and the performances, Thriller also benefited from a changing cultural landscape. The 1980s were a time of musical experimentation, with artists exploring new sounds and styles. The advent of music television and the growth of the pop culture industry meant that artists now had platforms to reach audiences like never before. Thriller, with its universal appeal, was perfectly poised to capitalize on these shifts. Legal battles and media scrutiny. The trajectory of Michael Jackson's life was marked not only by luminous success, but also by moments of profound turbulence. As he reached the zenith of fame, becoming arguably the most recognized artist on the planet, he also found himself under an increasingly harsh media microscope. With every accolade and achievement came intense scrutiny, and with it, a series of legal battles that would take a toll on both his personal and professional life. The 1990s were particularly tumultuous for Michael. While he continued to produce chart-topping music and break records, he also became embroiled in allegations of child molestation. In 1993, the first major accusation emerged, casting a dark shadow over his illustrious career. Even as he vehemently denied the claims, the court of public opinion, fueled by relentless media coverage, was divided. The case, eventually settled out of court, left an indelible mark on Michael's image. But the media's fascination with Michael wasn't limited to legal battles. Every aspect of his life, from his changing appearance to his relationships and his eccentricities, became fodder for tabloids. The man who had once been celebrated for his groundbreaking contributions to music was now often reduced to sensationalist headlines and lurid stories. The narrative around Michael began to shift, with many seeing him as an enigma, a mystery to be decoded rather than an artist to be celebrated. This relentless scrutiny took a toll on Michael's well-being. Friends and associates spoke of his growing distrust of the media and his struggle to maintain a semblance of privacy. His Neverland Ranch, once a symbol of his childlike wonder and love for amusement, became a retreat, a sanctuary from the prying eyes of the world. Yet even within its gates, he could not entirely escape the speculation and judgment. The turn of the century brought renewed legal challenges. In 2003, a documentary titled Living with Michael Jackson aired, reigniting controversy around him. This was soon followed by another set of child molestation charges in 2005. The trial was a media spectacle, with every twist and turn broadcasted and dissected. After months of testimonies and intense media attention, Michael was acquitted on all counts. But the damage to his reputation, his psyche, and his spirit was palpable. It's essential to recognize the dichotomy of Michael's relationship with the media. On one hand, the media had played a crucial role in his rise, broadcasting his music, covering his performances, and celebrating his successes. On the other hand, the same media often seemed hell-bent on tarnishing his legacy, focusing on controversies rather than his contributions to music and philanthropy. The Neverland Ranch, more than just an amusement park. In the rolling hills of Santa Barbara County, California, lies a property that for many years was as much a part of Michael Jackson's identity as his music, the Neverland Ranch. Named after the fantastical island in J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan, where children never grow up, Neverland was more than just Michael's home. It was a manifestation of his dreams, his passions, and, in many ways, his quest for lost childhood. Purchased in 1988, the sprawling 700-acre property was transformed by Michael into a veritable wonderland. Complete with a private amusement park, a zoo, and a movie theater, the ranch mirrored Michael's love for magic, fantasy, and childlike wonder. Statues of Peter Pan dotted the landscape, while a floral clock with the words Neverland stood prominently, greeting visitors as they entered this enchanted world. But Neverland wasn't just an extravagant playground for Michael. It symbolized his deep-seated desire to create a safe haven, a place where he, having been thrust into the limelight at a tender age and robbed of a normal childhood, could relive the joys of youth. The amusement rides, the arcade games, and the fairy tale ambiance were not mere ostentations of wealth. They were reflections of Michael's soul, his yearnings, and his love for the simpler joys of life. Furthermore, Neverland was not solely for Michael's pleasure. Over the years, the ranch became a sanctuary for countless children, many from disadvantaged backgrounds or grappling with life-threatening illnesses. Michael often opened the gates of Neverland to these children, offering them a day of pure joy and respite from their daily challenges. The laughter and happiness that echoed through the ranch on these occasions stood testament to Michael's philanthropic spirit and his genuine love for children. Yet, as with many aspects of Michael's life, Neverland became a double-edged sword. While it was a place of joy and generosity, it was also at the center of some of the most significant controversies that plagued him. The very spaces that witnessed laughter and celebrations also became the backdrop for allegations and legal battles. The ranch, intended to be a refuge, turned into a focal point of media scrutiny. As the years progressed, Particularly after the trials of the 2000s, Michael's relationship with Neverland began to change. The haven he had created, tainted by allegations and media frenzy, no longer felt like the sanctuary it once was. Michael eventually left Neverland, and while he spoke of his deep emotional connection to the ranch, in his eyes had been altered. Philanthropic endeavors, a legacy beyond music. Michael Jackson's imprint on the world of music is undeniable. His melodies, performances, and innovations have left an indelible mark on generations. But beyond the glitz and glamour of stardom, Michael's heart resonated with a profound commitment to making the world a better place. His philanthropic endeavors, often overshadowed by his musical accomplishments, were a testament to his deep sense of compassion and his desire to effect positive change. From a young age, Michael's sensitivity to the suffering of others was evident. As his fame and fortune grew, so did his efforts to reach out to those in need. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Michael's philanthropy touched various spheres, from children's hospitals to disaster relief, from educational initiatives to support for underprivileged communities. One of his most notable charitable contributions was to the pediatric wing of the Brotman Memorial Hospital in Los Angeles, which he renamed the Michael Jackson Burn Center after suffering burns during the filming of a Pepsi commercial. Recognizing the trauma and pain that burn victims undergo, Michael's donation facilitated medical treatment, research, and support for countless individuals. Children, in particular, held a special place in Michael's heart. His efforts to better the lives of children spanned continents. From inviting underprivileged kids to spend a day at his Neverland Ranch to establishing the Heal the World Foundation in 1992, Michael's initiatives aimed to provide children with a better future. The foundation's work was extensive, providing relief for war-torn regions, supporting medical research, and offering educational opportunities for the needy. Michael's philanthropy was also evident in his artistic endeavors. Songs like We Are the World, co-written with Lionel Richie, showcased his commitment to alleviating global issues. The single, aimed at raising funds for famine relief in Africa, was a rallying cry for unity and compassion and went on to generate millions in charity. Similarly, his single, Man in the Mirror, urged listeners to make a change and make the world a better place. But Michael's charitable spirit wasn't limited to grand gestures. Stories of his quiet acts of kindness abound: unpublicized visits to children's hospitals, anonymous donations to families in need, and personal interactions with fans battling illnesses. These gestures, free from the glare of the media spotlight, showcased the genuine kindness and warmth that characterized Michael's interactions with the world. His commitment to positive change was also evident in his public addresses and interviews. Michael often spoke about the power of love, the importance of nurturing the planet, and the collective responsibility to protect children. These themes, recurrent in his music, provided insight into the values and beliefs that guided his life. Relationship with the media, misunderstandings, and misrepresentations. The arc of Michael Jackson's life is as much a narrative about his profound musical impact as it is about his complex relationship with the media. For an artist whose career spanned decades and whose fame reached every corner of the globe, media played a dual role. It was both a springboard for his meteoric rise and, at times, a source of profound personal pain. From his early years with the Jackson 5, Michael was a media darling. The world was enamored by the young boy with an electrifying voice and unparalleled stage presence. Newspapers, television broadcasts, and magazines chronicled his every move, celebrating his talents and forecasting his bright future. This symbiotic relationship between Michael and the media seemed to promise a career under the warm glow of public adoration. But as Michael's star rose, so did the intensity and invasiveness of media attention. The same outlets that had once celebrated his achievements now seemed insatiable in their hunger for every detail of his personal life. As the 1980s gave way to the 1990s, Michael found himself not just on the music charts, but on tabloid front pages, where rumors, innuendos, and speculations became daily fodder. A significant turning point was his changing appearance. Michael's evolving facial features, especially his skin color, became a subject of endless speculation. While he publicly discussed his diagnosis with vitiligo, a condition causing depigmentation of the skin, the media often favored sensational explanations, casting doubts and fostering myths. This misrepresentation hurt Michael deeply, turning a personal health challenge into a spectacle. His private sanctum, the Neverland Ranch, was another favorite subject for the media. Designed as a refuge from the world, where Michael could reconnect with the joys of childhood he'd missed out on, the media often portrayed it as a manifestation of his eccentricities. The narrative was no longer about Michael's music, but about his purported oddities. However, it was the allegations of misconduct in the 1990s and 2000s that truly strained his relationship with the media. The man who had once been universally adored now found himself at the center of a media storm. While the legal system eventually acquitted him, the media trial was relentless and, at times, devoid of nuance. Every detail of the cases, every courtroom appearance, and every statement was dissected, often overshadowing his musical endeavors. Despite the challenges, Michael's interactions with the media were not always adversarial. He understood the power of visual media and harnessed it innovatively. His music videos, from Thriller to Black or White, were not just songs but cultural events. He used television interviews like the notable one with Oprah Winfrey in 1993 to address rumors, share his side of the story, and connect directly with his fans. Final years, hidden struggles, and lost opportunities. As the 21st century dawned, Michael Jackson, the king of pop, found himself at a crossroads. With a career that spanned over 4 decades, he had seen the pinnacle of success and the depths of adversity. His final years, a blend of personal struggles and professional endeavors, were emblematic of a life lived in the limelight, replete with its joys and sorrows. By the 2000s, Michael was no longer just a musician, he was a global phenomenon. Yet with this unparalleled fame came a sense of isolation. The incessant media scrutiny, the controversies, and the weight of expectations had taken their toll. Friends and family recounted a Michael who, behind closed doors, grappled with bouts of loneliness and the pressures of living up to his iconic status. Professionally, Michael seemed to be gearing up for a resurgence. In 2009, he announced, "This Is It," a series of concerts set to take place in London. The announcement was met with unparalleled enthusiasm. Tickets sold out in mere hours, indicating that the world was eagerly awaiting Michael's return to the stage. These concerts were not just performances, they were poised to be a testament to Michael's enduring appeal and his unparalleled artistry. However, behind the scenes, the preparation for This Is It unveiled a different story. Rehearsals were intense, and the pressure to deliver a show befitting his legacy was immense. Those close to him spoke of his dedication and his desire to give his fans a show like no other. Yet they also hinted at the physical and emotional strain it was placing on Michael. Amidst these preparations, Michael's health became a topic of concern. While he had always been known for his incredible stamina and energy, the demands of the upcoming concerts combined with his age and past health issues raised flags. Whispers about his reliance on prescription medications began to circulate, painting a picture of a superstar trying to cope with the immense pressures. Then, in a turn of events that shook the world, Michael Jackson passed away on June 25, 2009. The news was met with a mix of shock, disbelief, and profound grief. Fans across the globe mourned the loss of a legend, an artist who had defined generations and changed the face of music. In the wake of his passing, stories began to emerge about his final days. The narrative was no longer about the upcoming concerts, but about lost opportunities. This Is It, which was meant to be a triumphant return, became a poignant reminder of what could have been, the influence on modern pop culture. Now, Michael Jackson's contribution to the world of music and entertainment is unparalleled, but his influence reaches far beyond the confines of his discography. As the decades have unfolded since his emergence on the global stage, the tentacles of his impact have woven deeply into the fabric of modern pop culture. Michael didn't just set the bar, he was the bar. And today's artists, consciously or subconsciously, navigate the entertainment world in the shadow of his towering legacy. The realm of music videos offers one of the most tangible illustrations of Michael's lasting influence. Before him, music videos were largely promotional tools, often basic in execution. But with epics like Thriller, Michael transformed the music video into a cinematic art form. The storytelling, the choreography, and the production values he introduced became standards. Today, when artists like Beyoncé or Lady Gaga release narrative-driven visuals, echoes of Michael's pioneering approach resonate. Dance, too, saw a revolution with Michael. His moonwalk isn't just a dance move, it's a cultural moment, a symbol of an era. Modern performers, whether it's Chris Brown's acrobatics or Usher's smooth footwork, owe a debt to Michael's innovation and precision on the dance floor. His fusion of different styles, his creation of iconic moves, and his ability to use dance as a storytelling medium have become foundational in contemporary performances. Fashion and style are other arenas where Michael's touch is evident. His military-style jackets, the single glittered glove, the fedora tilted just so, these became emblematic of a man who understood the power of image. Today's artists, in their ever-evolving and often daring fashion choices, are walking a path Michael helped pave. When artists like Rihanna or Billie Eilish make fashion statements, they're participating in a dialogue about artist image that Michael played a huge role in shaping. Beyond these tangible elements, Michael's influence can be seen in the very ethos of modern pop culture. His commitment to pushing boundaries, to continually innovating, and to marrying artistry with mass appeal set a precedent. In today's age, where artists often juggle roles as musicians, actors, entrepreneurs, and activists, Michael's multidimensional career serves as a blueprint. He wasn't just a singer, he was a total entertainer, a brand, and a global icon.